delivery. Oh.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads so e no dey, light o usa, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No vex, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, please don't call.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. I will call you back.
That behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
Corruption not in my country. This message is brought to you by the Akin Fadehi Foundation, the Marketer Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
corruption not in my country.
I don't get a lot. Boy, they won't bugam.
Greenwoods went for goal. Goalkeeper missed it. Right again. Fight him. He does a right hand and down goes Woodhall straight away. Elsewhere. Beyond keeper behind with the Fiasi. Oh, what a point to end it on. So now this is when they're at their best. That's when they're 12 years for this. So drink it in. Still goes to Ireland, New Zealand. Well, he'd love to be immortality as an athlete. 19.79. It's a goal.
You're welcome back as the Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Joining me this evening to take a look at the latest revolving round the world of sports is Michael. Michael, good evening to you and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening to you, Kingsley, and good evening to our viewers out there. It's always a pleasure to do this with you.
All right, let's quickly move on as we take a look at some matters revolving around the world of sports at the moment as Team Nigeria will officially open camping in 3 states and the Federal Capital Territory as the Federal Ministry of Sport Development will intensify the preparation of athletes for the Paris Olympics. The states for camping include Lagos, Bayelsa, Oyo, and the FCT. Minister of Sports Development John Wanino disclosed this yesterday in Abuja at a ministerial strategic technical meeting. He said that the meeting is aimed at preparing Team Nigeria for the Paralympic Games. The meeting had in attendance presidents, secretaries, and technical directors for the 11 Olympic-bound sports federation. The minister, who stressed the importance of proper preparation for the games, assured that foreign training tours for athletes would commence immediately after the domestic camp. He said some countries with proximity to France, such as Germany, Spain, and Italy, even US, has been penciled down for the foreign tours for the Paris-bound athletes. What do you make of the preparation ahead of the Paris Olympic Games, Michael?
I think it's a great one. When we're heading for such big tournaments, you need to start preparation in earnest so as to ensure that you have a proper outing out there for our athletes. I think the sport minister is also taking the lead by making sure that he take part in one of these major meetings with the stakeholders to ensure that there's an early preparation for our athletes out there. I think for me, we've learned our lesson in the past, and that is why they are making sure that at least our athletes are properly prepared ahead of the Paris Olympic game, because You know, in the past we are used to this quick fix kind of a thing where we wait until the dying hour, till the dying moment of any competition before we start preparation. And out there, when you start such a fire brigade approach, I mean, it doesn't allow the athlete to give their best out there. But when you have an early campaign, it will also help the coaches as well to, even make their job easier. It helps the athletes also to perfect their game plan as well. And so for me, I think it's the right way to go, early preparation, so as to ensure that our athletes have qualified for the Paris Olympic game. It's going to go out there and give us a very good representation, not just to go out there and come back just because we want to fulfill our righteousness, but we should actually be going out there with the aim and objective of going out there to pick gold or silver medal back home. So for me, I think it's a nice one.
Nice one. We heard that, of course, the athletes will be camping in Lagos, Bayelsa State, Oyo State, and FCT. And we hear not only the camping, they'll be going on tour in countries that are close to France, like Spain, Italy, and Germany as well.
It's a massive one because going on tour helps, some of these athletes to get more exposure. It helps them as well to adapt to their, climate out there, because some of the countries they've actually mentioned have shared the same humidity or the same temperature with that of, France. So for me, with that of France rather. So for me, I think it's a good one, giving them that exposure and also getting to adapt with the weather condition of France will also give them a very good or a soft landing, if you may want to say, when we get to the Paris Olympic game proper. So I think all this is geared towards, helping our athletes to at least perform optimally when the Paris Olympic game officially kick off.
Impressive one. Let's see how it goes, of course, for Team Nigeria ahead of the Paris Olympic game. Sport Minister John Wanino doing everything he can to make sure that the team, of course, get the best of preparation ahead of the Paris Olympic Games. Away from that, let's talk basketball. Despite suffering an 89-83 semi-final defeat to Ahali Benghazi of Libya in Kigali, Ogo Daudu has set sights on the bronze medal for River Supers at the 2024 Basketball African League. Hoopers, who were written off at the start of the season, had a 5-3 record going into the semi-final game and the quarter-final defeats of 2022 champion U.S. Monastir of Tunisia. A disappointed River Supers head coach Ogodado said his team would put the loss behind, and they'll put the loss behind them and be back for the third place encounter against Cape Town Tigers today. Michael, what do you make of this one? Ogodado saying that his boys will do everything they can to make sure they secure the third place in the third place position in the competition.
It's the right way to go. We don't have anything to lose again at this point in time. What we should just be focused is that Rivers Hoopers should make a podium finish out there. Having lost the semi-final clash against Al Ahly of Libya, I think we don't have anything again to lose. We should go all out to ensure that at least we finish within the podium. Finishing third wouldn't be a bad one, even though we had hoped that at least they get to the final, looking at their impressive start right from the Sahara Conference. You want to say, yes, they broke a jinx of becoming the first Nigerian club side, especially in basketball, to go out there in the Basketball African League and go beyond the preliminary stage by getting to the semi-final. This is the first time in history, and for me, I think it's a massive achievement for Rivers Hoopers. So the next in the line is the third game place, which they will be playing this evening by 7 p.m. We'll keep our fingers crossed, hoping that they are going to at least also step up to the occasion by making sure that they gain the win, so that will help us to finish third. It is also a big achievement because it adds to their own feather. When next our Basketball African League comes alive, and when you are paired against Rivers Hoopers, any team that hears the name will ring bell in their ears, and they will definitely have that fear factor. So for me, they should go all out. Like I said, they don't have anything again to lose. Go all out, make sure you finish within the podium.
Let's see how it goes for Rivers Hoopers. We hope they'll be able to get things done tonight against Cape Town Tigers. For the Cape Town Tigers side, they've also been very impressive, in the competition, and we hope that they'll also show their class as well in this particular encounter. But Michael, it's been an impressive ride, for so many, especially So many persons have actually tagged the run for River Super as a fairy tale one. What do you make of that performance so far in the competition?
Very, very commendable. Starting from the Sahara Conference, where they played 6 games, winning 4 of those games, topping their group out there. In fact, they were the first team to qualify from the Sahara Conference, coming first out there. You want to say, yes, they did a massive job. The only Nigerian clubs that have gone there, how far did they go? They just went there and win only 1 game and came back. The next has been very disappointing. For Rivers Hoopers, this is their second time they will be appearing, and they've actually...
That was Kwara Falcons. They didn't even win any game. The last time the Nigerian team went for the Basketball Africa League was Kwara Falcons.
Okay.
They lost all 3 games in the group stage.
And that is how bad it is. For Rivers Hoopers that have come this far, winning 4 out of 6, getting down to the second phase out there in Kigali, lost their first game against the AS Douanes, but bounced back very strong in the second game against US Monastir, and we got to the semi-final where we took on the the giant killer in quotes, talking about the Al Ahly of Libya, because I call them giant slayer because they were the one that hosted at the defending champion, talking about the Al Ahly of Egypt. So it's such a big team, it's such a great team that they came up against. They were able to also push them back to the wall because, at some point the game was evenly poised. In fact, the game ended 73-73 at a regulation at normal time. They had to go to the overtime, and that is where the Al Ahly of Libya had to get the better of Rivers Super. So we want to say generally they've actually done exceedingly well for me, because heading into this one, nobody even gave them a chance that they were going to make any impacts out there, starting from Senegal. But then we saw the exploit that they did. The 5 new players that was injected into the team, they all were very, very good, as most of them lived up to the billings. Will Perry, Divine, AK, Mayo, all of them also came to the party. It means that the money that was spent on them was properly spent. So I tell you, it has been a very impressive ride for Rivers Hoopers. They've actually created a name, a niche for themselves, not just for the Nigerian basketball, but for Africa, because their achievement so far right now, like I said earlier, is going to make their name to ring bell in the heart of every other team out there when next Basketball African League take place. So for me, I'll give them maybe in the ratio of 10, I would say I'll give them 7%.
Rivers Hoopers, of course, putting up some impressive performance down there in the Basketball African League. They will be playing the 3rd place game against Cape Town Tigers. And talking about, Al Ahly Benghazi of Libya, they are the only northern team, of course, down here in Africa remaining in the competition as it stands. And since the inception for the Basketball African League, we've seen the northern teams putting up dominance. I think first was Al Ahly of Egypt. We saw US Monastir, of course, also winning the competition. But apart from the northern side, we haven't seen any other team, any other basketball team from other region in Africa, of course, taking up this one. But this time, we have a certain Petro the Luanda in the final. I think that's from the Eastern African part of it. That's an Angolan team. And for what it is, I don't know what you make of it. You see the North Africans from, still staging dominance with the Al Ahly side, of course, still in the encounter.
Yeah, it's looking likely, looking at, the information or statistics on ground. The East Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, they've not been that good in terms of sport generally, not just only in basketball. I think the North Africans, they've always had the better because of their organizational structure. You talk about facility-wise, they are up there. So for me, I think these are some of the reasons why it looks as though West Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, we suffer a lot because of lack of proper, sports development out there. We don't take it serious. Maybe sometimes we take it like a part-time kind of something. We don't take it like as if it is a business. But I think they are beginning to see reason for them to develop so that we can be able to catch up with the North Africa, because taking a look at their performance on the whole in terms of sport development generally, I think we are no match. West Africa, we are no match to them. Central Africa, East Africa, they are no match to the North Africans. So I think it's a wake-up call for other regions to also start doing the needful. And by doing so, you need to start from somewhere. First, the facilities must be on ground, you know, so that you can be able to have. There are other sports that is relatively unknown, you know, that the North Africans, whenever we get to the All-African game, they rack up silverware from those unknown sports, and that helps them to boost their medals on the log out there. That is why you see, most times you see that the Tunisian, Egyptian, Moroccan, they dominate in the all-African game. So, like I say, it's a wake-up call for other countries here in Africa to also, you know, meet up to the standard, so that we begin to see that competition within these different zones here in Africa. Because if we do, it's going to be a plus to Africa as a continent whenever we head for any major competition out there, be it the Commonwealth game, be it the Olympic game out there, because definitely we'll go out there and make our mark. All of these sport that people reckon with across the globe. If you talk about South Africa, yeah, you talk about rugby, they are known for it. Ethiopia, Kenya, long distance race, they are known for it. You know, Egypt, their league is pretty okay. They are known for something. What are we actually known in this part of the climb, in this part of African region? So these are things that we need to also, you know, think about and see how we can be able to improve our sporting infrastructure generally to meet up with the standard of others.
Let's see how it goes. We hope that you know, other basketball team, you know, coming from other region will stay dominant, especially Petro de Rwanda in the final of the Basketball African League this time around. And River Supers looking forward to, of course, be the first Nigerian team to finish in third place in the Basketball African League. That would be a very huge record, of course, you know, for the Kingsmen. But let's talk about, you know, tennis at this moment. But before we talk about tennis, Michael, we saw the game between Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves, you know, early hours of today, getting to the, you know, basketball league, you know, playoff as it stands. And I don't know what you make of it. Timberwolves, everyone expected them, of course, to have maybe gone far in this one. But for what we've seen at this point, you know, they were actually being, you know, ousted out, you know, by the Dallas Mavericks side. I think it ended 4-1, and the Dallas Mavericks, of course, are in the finals of the NBA.
For Timberwolves this season, I did not actually tip them to come this far. Maybe it's a different opinion, contrary to what you say, that everybody expected them to.
Especially when you take a look at the way, you know, they've had an impressive run right from the playoff, you know, down to this stage. You expected them at least would have, you know, gone toe-to-toe against Dallas Mavericks side.
I do not think so.
Because they have some couple of players, the likes of Anthony Edwards, you know, Kyle Anthony. They've been very instrumental. I understand one man in the Dallas Mavericks side I've been so impressed talking about Luka Doncic. He has actually been named the most valuable player of the season. An impressive one for them. But I actually had a lot of expectation from the Minnesota Timberwolves this season.
I did not have any expectation from them. You might have expectation from them, but for me, I did not have any expectation for them, because you have to go through their record, what they have done in the past, you know, before you can be able to say, yes, you expect anything good from them or something positive, probably getting to the final. I think, for me, they've actually finished very strong. There are other big teams, you know, you would have expected to get, you know, to where they are, but they were all, you know, pulled back, pegged back, you know, earlier in the season. Some of them couldn't even make it to the playoff. Some of the big teams are there. For Timberwolves, they don't have any rich history. They don't have that rich culture in terms of the NBA. You have to go through their file out there, and that is why I didn't expect anything from them. For me, in fact, this is one of their best seasons. If you take a look at the record, you know, so far, after 5 years down the line right now, this is one of the Timberwolves' best seasons. Coming up against Maverick, who is also former champion. You know, they have written their own history in the NBA. So I do not actually think that Timberwolves should have come this far. So coming this far is a plus to them. They should build on it to go into the next season. But for Dallas Mavericks, you want to say, yes, they actually deserve to be here because they've been very, very good. During the regular season, down to the playoff, they were very, very good. You know, this is Mavericks team that always depend on one player, Doncic in the past, but I think they are beginning to develop other superstar, the likes of Ainin also coming to the party. When Ivan rather. When Luka Doncic doesn't step up, Ivan also comes up very clutchy to deliver his team.
Is also in the mix as well.
Yeah, it's just that injury also has been a problem for him. So basically it has been Luka Doncic that has been shouldering the burden of Dallas Mavericks for this season. And I think for me they've come this far. Let's hope that they can be able to stand against the heat and the firepower for Boston Celtic, because I think for Boston Celtic, they are another very difficult team to play against, who have also won the NBA record 17 times. I think for me it's going to be a great final. I expected them to get to the final so that we see one of the most pulsating and most exciting final in a long while.
And it promises to be an exciting final because Dallas Mavericks will be locking on against Boston Celtic. Boston Celtic, the last time they were in the NBA final and won was in 2008. Another opportunity for them, to see what they can be able to do. Let's see how it goes in this particular one. Promises to be an exciting edition or for the basketball, league final. But let's see if we can bring you some results, from the French Open as it is, because we're seeing some interesting results down there. Rublev, of course, was beaten this afternoon against, he played against Nadi. It ended 7-6. 6-2, 6-4. Andrew Rublev, of course, has been ousted out from the French Open. Yannick Sinner had an impressive run against Pavel Kostov. It ended in a 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 victory. Straight set victory for the Italian Michael.
Very impeccable. His display so far this season has been very, very good. He's a player that we look forward to dethrone Novak Djokovic as a world #1, because I tell you, this man talking about Yannick Sinner, the Italian, has been on a great form so far since the start of this season. And I tell you, the way he takes his opponents to the cleaner clearly tells you that he doesn't give chances to any player at all. He always wants to finish the job appropriately. Composure is one of the key. You need to watch some of his game. He's very, very composed. Right from the first quarter down to the last quarter, he doesn't take chances. So for me, he's such a great player, one that I hope to see in the final.
Let's see how it goes, of course, for the Italian, talking about Yannick Sinner. But in the female category, it's looking very interesting as Casareto, of course, got past Samnova 7-6, 6-2. Danlovic, of course, got past Danovekic in his Slov 6-7-5. 7-6. Cory Kokogov continue, of course, her pursuit for another Grand Slam title as she got past Yamstrenka in a 6-2, 6-4 victory. Kokogov, Michael, another victory for her in this one.
Good one for Kokogov, good one for her, because she's one of my favorites in the WTA. It's just that most time when I try to put my hope on her trust, she falters sometimes. But I tell you, Kokogov is such a great player, and you expect her to at least get to the final in this very one. But even if not to the final, but to get that far in this very one, still have some of the big names, likes of Iga Swiatek still very much around, Zverev still very much around, Kokogov. So for me, looking at these names, even our own Onjebo, I will not forget to mention her because of my own sentiment. She's of the African continent. And despite her inconsistency, whenever she takes part in some of these major tourney, I'm always very, very happy, because she's not only flying the flag of Egypt, but that of African continent. So for me, for Kokogov, it's a great one. I want to see some of these big names at least progress through, from the first round down to round 32 down to round 16. I want to see this big name, because I wish to see big names in the final, because when you have big names in the final, then that final will watch it. But when you see some of these rookies springing surprises, thereby taking some of these big names to the cleaner, defeating them earlier in the competition, when you get to the final against maybe relatively unknown players, those, that vibe, that high expectation, that anxiety, that excitement wouldn't be there. So for me, I'm very, very happy that Kokogov has progressed through, knowing also well that the like of Zverev is still very much around, Iga Swiatek still, kicking. So for me, it's a great one.
Of course, Onjebo got past Lina Fernandez in a 6-4, 7-5, 7-6 victory. Onjebo, of course, pushing to win her first Grand Slam. And Iga Swiatek continue her chase, for another title on defending the French Open as well. She got past Boskova in a 6-4, 6-4 victory. So it's really looking interesting at the moment in the French Open, and of course we'll see how this one, of course, will pan out at the end of for the day. But at this point, we'll take a short break, and when we'll come back from this break, we'll be bringing you the latest revolving around the world of football. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Driver, why you just jack us up and down like this now?
I hope nobody carry me.
Why you ask? Oh?
Because this road where they see, so you don't guarantee safety. We just vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so day, light outside. The infrastructure don't come. The content to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, well everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
My phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Yes. Are you working on them now?
Ma, the prices you quoted are way too high now.
Madam, sorry, this don't cost.
We found the laptop you said is 1.8 million naira for 600,000 naira.
Hello?
Now my body network there.
I can't hear you. Network is bad.
Madam, we can hear you. Continue.
Hello, I can't hear you. We call you back.
Their behavior not good now.
Madam, now this kind behavior they kill our country. You suppose do things differently, make Nigeria for better.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
I get a lot. Boy, they won't booga me small. They say, man, give them bribe. I say nothing. Okay, now, we'll go block later. You remember that contract we will do that time now? They don't pay.
Hey! But first, you see the house rent with the old things. Go first call caretaker, take the money, slap.
Beg, see, you know, say I get annual levy. Why they pay for club? Where me and boys they shout beer now. I supposed to pay that one. You remember say me I tell you I go buy you motor. I go buy now.
Okay, they pay you money now. We would don't they beg caretaker. We would they beg landlord, old man, and they agree give us time. Money can't come now. You want to divert time. You said na corruption. Corruption. Not in my house and not in my country.
True?
Sure.
Corruption not in my country.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
and with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country. Kasali! Kasali! Also, my lawyer, I get interview in 30 minutes. Okay, you don't ready. I just the last minute instruction wey you give me yesterday. Now they cost me more delay. Which instruction? Maybe now you say make I change the meter, make you no read it again. Which time I make you change the meter? Oh, Kasali, why you do like this now? Eh? For what you now you for come over home my motor. I don't for me. Okay. Now don't do something we corrupt. And something come backfire now go come they find out to dodge am. What you talk? Eh? I greet you. Corruption not in my
This
country.
message is brought to you by the Akinfade Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation,
And with broadcast support from Atlantic Television Network.
Corruption not in my country.
What you want? What a point to end it on. So now this is when they're at their best. And it's when they're 12 years for this. So drink it in.
Yeah, welcome back. Steve Sport Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Of course, it's time for we to bring you the latest revolving around the world of football, and we start with the Nigerian Premier Football League, as Lobby Stars have renewed their determination to pick a continental ticket this season. The Makurdi club have suffered a deep in form recently and not in contention to win the title. Lobby Stars are winless in their last 4 matches in the Nigerian Premier Football League, and the pride of being currently on the table. They will take in Doma United at the Pantami Stadium, Gombe, on Saturday, which is tomorrow. Michael, it's so surprising that Lobby Stars that were, leading on the Nigerian Premier Football League table at some point, they have gradually dropped. This time, they're not even fighting for the title anymore. They are just fighting for a continental slot.
Yeah, it's so shameful that at a point where we thought maybe, yeah, they are going to be the one that is going for the jugular against the likes of Enyimba, against the likes of Enugu Rangers, but then you look at they have a very, very deep in form, especially at the tail end of the season, and that is why they are even, writing themselves off from the title contention. They are even thinking about finishing within the continental spot and not about, laying their hand on the title again. And of course, for a team that have not won a single game in their last 4 matches, it tells you a whole lot about how, their form has deteriorated over the past few weeks right now. So for me, I think it's a disappointing one, but then they still have a chance. If they can believe on themselves, we still have about 4 games to, go. If they can pick all 3 points in these 4 games, they're still in for the title chase.
All right, away from that, Remo Stars will lock ons against Kano Pillars. They will play at home, and this will be another interesting encounter. Doma United will be national against Lobby Stars. We told you Bender Insurance will be national against Casper United. Sporting Lagos against Enugu Rangers. Michael, this will be a very tight encounter. Sporting Lagos, they lost their last game against Rivers United, and they're also fighting to survive relegation against Enugu Rangers that are chasing the title. What do you make of this one?
There's no match in the Nigerian Premier Football League that is always very easy. All the matches are very, very, tough as usual. But then you expect Enugu Rangers to get a positive result against Interlagos, who has been struggling, fighting relegation. It clearly tells you on how poor they have dropped in form, because at the earlier season when they started, they were blowing hot. People thought maybe they were going to be the new team that is going to at least push some of these big teams down to the, back to the wall. But then at some point, especially at the mid-season, their form began to drop. At some point, there was this issue that the coach, had this kind of, like, call it sentiment or tribalism, where the report has it then that he always select players from particular region. I don't want to mention names. So their form began to drop. So, and since then they've not actually picked that form, that earlier form we saw at the beginning of the season. That is why they are battling, relegation as it stands right now. But coming up against Enugu Rangers, that is also leading the table out there, hoping to lay their hands on the Nigerian Premier Football League trophy for this season after a long while. It's going to be a very difficult one for them. But then, who says never when it has to do with football? They can also get, because Enugu Rangers, I think they are more hungry, to lift this league than Sporting Lagos, battling to stay afloat in the PFL.
Sunshine Stars, of course, who lock ons against Bayelsa United. And Sunshine Stars, of course, lock ons against Bayelsa United. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Bayelsa United will lock ons against Plateau United. And Eyimba will be national against Rivers United. Michael, this is another top fixture as well this weekend. Eyimba Rivers United.
Always a very difficult clash between Eyimba and Rivers United. But then, looking at the form of Rivers United this time, you'll also want to say, maybe on paper you want to give it to Eyimba, but then we know this clash between Eyimba and Rivers is always a very, very difficult one. Over the years have been very, very unpredictable. And most times, Rivers United always have the upper of Eyimba, but then can that happen at this point in time where their form is nothing to write home about? Talking about Rivers United is still a question they need to answer on the pitch out there. But then I still think that for Eyimba, they want to get all 3 points so as to keep up the pressure against Enugu Rangers as it stands. And then again, for their manager, talking about Finidi George, they have also signed a contract with the national team. Their second manager will be quickly drafted in to take his place. You will also want to also do a great job. Looking at where Finidi George has brought the team far, it would be very bad, if he could not continue to sustain this pressure against Enugu Rangers. So that makes the game even more difficult for both Rivers United, who have lost form, and for Eyimba, who also is trying to catch up with the Enugu Rangers.
Niger Tornadoes lock ons against Kwara United, and we'll see Shooting Stars against Abia Warriors. Aqua United, of course, who have actually stepped up from the relegation zone, will be nation against Heartland FC. Michael, this should be another win for Aqua United. We're playing at home against Heartland.
I don't think so. Heartland, they blow hot and cool. They might just go there and spring surprise by getting all 3 points at the Gospel Akpabio Stadium. But I think for Aqua United, for the fact that they are trying to battle and leave the
I don't think that game will be at the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium, because there's an event this weekend in the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium at the William Trusted Foundation.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe the league body, they have not actually given us an official venue for that game, but I don't know where it's going to take place. But whether home and away, you can't actually say that Aqua United is having the upper hand against Heartland, who is also struggling, battling relegation. They want to also see if they can pull themselves out of that relegation zone. Aqua United, you may want to say that they are also maybe out of the relegation zone, but if you take a look at the points difference between Aqua United and the teams rocking the bottom table, talking about Bayelsa United, there is no much there. So for me, they are still within the relegation zone. So it's a team that two teams that have lost form, battling for relegation. So let's see how they can be able to cancel out each other. But then you want to say that the odds might possibly favor Aqua United. But like I said, with this Christian Obi, you can never predict the team.
Let's see how it goes. With this Christian Obi, you can never predict Heartland. We'll look forward to see if Aqua United will be able to predict them and get the victory this weekend. Away from that, the Nigerian Football Federation has arranged a pre-tournament training camp in Spain from July 5th to 6th for the Super Falcons in preparation for the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. The NFF has sent out invitation letters to players of the Super Falcons to train in Spain ahead of the competition to acclimatize to the weather condition of France. According to the report, the initial plan was for the nine-time African champion to hold a foreign or local camp in the ongoing FIFA Women's International window between 28th of May to June 4th, during which Randy Wardrum sought to do an open screening for his new addition ahead of the championship. During the camp, the Super Falcons are scheduled to take one of the high-profile teams. Name, of course, has been withheld, and in Group A, featuring hosts France, Canada, New Zealand, and Colombia. Also, the team's schedule leaked to Nigerian football.ng in form of a Group A friendly match that will likely come up on July 5th, a day before the team departs for the tournament in France. But the main thing is that the girls will be camping in Spain ahead of the preparation for the Paris Olympic Games. Michael, it seems as if there's been a top-notch preparation ahead of the Olympics. We also don't forget when we started the show, we talked about Nigerian athletes being that they have to go on a tour in countries like Germany, France, and the countries that are closer to France to make sure that they get themselves acclimatized. And the same thing we're also seeing for the Super Falcons as it is.
It's a change of narrative from the conventional. We are doing something very new, which is something that we must also commend the sport minister, because he has been involved in all of this arrangement and planning to ensure that each of the team representing Nigeria in the Paris Olympic Games start preparation early, so that they can be able to settle down, work on their tactics, and also perfect their own plans, game plans as well. So for me, I think it's been very, very, very great, because if you take a look at the performance of the Super Falcons in the last World Cup game, you may want to say we did not have the best of preparation because of the fact that there was this, media tussle between then Randy Wardrum and the NFL, whether it's going to stay, this and that, and that did not allow Randy Wardrum to have a proper camping with the girls for quite a long time. But then they were able to settle when the time was very near for the last World Cup. But then Randy Wardrum was able to, get the best of this girl. We actually did, not too bad, because at least we hold our head very high in the last World Cup. Looking at the group that we find ourselves then and how the girls were able to come out of that group, so for me it's been very great. So if you can have proper preparation for the Paris Olympic Games, it's a good one. It's a plus to the Super Falcons, because if we did not have a proper preparation and camping before the last World Cup, and we did that, we got to that magic feat where at least we were able to surprise the world. What if we have proper camping and proper planning? It will also help us as a team to also even do pretty well in the Paris Olympic Game. So for me, this is the way to go. We keep hammering the fact that we need to start early preparation. Though most times you say yes, for the fact that you start early preparation doesn't mean that you are going to win the competition. But do the needful first. Do the necessary. These are basic things that you must do. Because if you want to go to anywhere right now, you need to start proper planning. You have to plan yourself. This is where I want to go. This is the time I need to move, and this is where I need to board my vehicle. It helps you to, move smoothly and get to your destination. So for me, I think early preparation is key. The Super Falcons, they need to start preparing early. Also help the coach to get the best out of the players that we have, and to know the strength of each player. If he has time, to invite one or two players that is new into the squad, that player will as well have enough time to also get to understand the philosophy of the team, get to understand the game pattern of each players in his group, and that will help the team to even gel and bond more better. And when we get to the game proper, there will be this proper understanding in the pitch of play that you can seamlessly close your eye and give a pass to your opponent, because this understanding, this synergy is there already. But if you don't have that synergy, because of lack of early preparation, proper planning, it's going to be a problem.
All right, but Michael, it's really becoming very disturbing as we hear most of the Super Eagles players won't turn up for the World Cup qualifying encounter against the Bafana of South Africa. Recently, we hear that Nathan Teller has withdrawn from the Super Eagles squad ahead of the World Cup qualifiers. Don't forget, we earlier heard of Victor Osimhen happened to withdraw due to injury. We talk about Kenneth Umero, Laoluwa Aina as well, withdrawing from this particular one. I don't know what you make of the withdrawal for this player. Some by injury, and some actually withdrew without no concrete reasons.
It's a big worry, because we have a big challenge in our hand to tackle that we must, as a matter of must, get the World Cup ticket, because if we fail to get it this time around, I think it's going to be a very disappointing one. You saw the last World Cup where we weren't there. It looked as though it was just nothing happened, just because, when Nigeria, the Super Eagles, is not featuring in any major competition, that interest will not be there. So for me, I think it's a big worry, big issue that Finidi George need to deal with. The likes of Nathan Taylor, just like you mentioned, he had cited his own reasons that based on family issues and all of that, he want to take out his time to sort out himself. The likes of Victor Osimhen, we understand injury, Olaoluwa Aina injury, Kenneth Omeru injury as well. So I think this is a big challenge for Finidi George. I don't know how he's going to maneuver this big challenge, but then I think we still have other talents out there that can also step in. Only if Finidi George believe in some of those players and have his tactics right, I don't think we need to be worried, because Nigeria, we have talent cut across everywhere you look around. We have talent that can get the job done. But just that most times some of these established players have made their name and they've endeared their heart into the fans of Nigeria. So most time when Nigeria don't see such big name, they'll be like all hope is lost. No, we have thousands and thousands of Victor Osimhen that can get there and do the job even better than Victor Osimhen, but the chance has not been given to such players. So I think this is a time that such players, if you are given the opportunity by being invited to fill in the gap of some of these players, they should also step up, knowing fully well that everything is at stake. The joy and happiness of Nigeria is at stake, because whenever Nigeria does well in the World Cup or in any game at all, it brings joy, the glory into the heart of Super Eagles fans. But when they don't do well out there, you see the pains, the agony, the misery. And sometimes some of them even went as far as committing suicide and all of it. We had what happened in the last African Cup of Nations during the penalty shootout. We had some prominent people losing their life because of tension, because of pressure. These are not news that we want to hear. We don't want to hear the news that Super Eagles failed to qualify in a successive World Cup. It will be very, very bad. So for me, I think it's a big challenge in the hand of Finidi George. And this is where we truly know if he has what it takes, to stamp his feet in the Super Eagles as the head coach.
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for a better outing for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. But Michael, tomorrow is going to be the UEFA Champions League final between Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. I don't know what you make of this final. Both teams, of course, looking forward to add to their UEFA Champions League tally.
Yeah, I think it's a big night that we are going to have tomorrow at Wembley Stadium out there in England. It's a big night for both teams. Everything is at stake. These are former champions. Real Madrid, a record 14-time winner of the UEFA Champions League. They've actually made it more like a farmers league when you talk about Champions League. Coming up against a former champion as well, talking about Borussia Dortmund, who also have won the UEFA Champions League final in 1996 through 1997, where they actually dismantled and disfigured the old ladies, talking about Juventus, 3-1. And not only that, in 2013 as well, they also got to the final as well, where they played against Bayern Munich, but were humbled by 2-1 against Bayern Munich. Then again, you want to say, yes, they have the rich history in terms of Champions League. They have pedigree because of what they've done in the past, even present as well. They have their own legend that will also be playing his last game for this Dortmund side, talking about Marco Ruiz. They want to give him that perfect send-off by winning the UEFA Champions League for him. Then again, for Madrid, they want to keep a record of winning it 15 good times. We hear Valverde have also promised that if they get to winning the 15 times, he's going to paint his hair white, signifying the white angel. And then again, their key man, one of the midfield maestro in the game, talking about Toni Kroos, will also be playing his final and last game for Real Madrid. So everything is at stake in this very one come tomorrow. But I tell you, the pendulum might be swinging in favor of Real Madrid, because according to bookmakers, Octopus, analysts, they are also giving it to Real Madrid. But for me, I'm taking a different stand. I think Dortmund we definitely shock Real Madrid come tomorrow. So I'm in the camp of Dortmund.
It's all right. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. But we hear Jose Mourinho has put pen to paper for Fenerbahce.
Yeah, great one. 2-year deal. After being jobless for the past few months, right now he has gotten a job. But one would say, is this more like a step down or a step up in his career? It's a big question. But I think, in as much as Fenerbahce will be playing the Champions League, I still think it's a good one. It's a good step up because while he was at Roma, Roma couldn't play in the Champions League. They played in the Europa, which he actually made history with them. Coming to Fenerbahce, I think what to say is a step up. Let's see how he goes for the special one, if he still has that special touch in him.
All right, at this point, we'll call it a wrap on the show, and we'll be back tomorrow for Sports Personality by 7 a.m. Mike, it's been an impressive time this evening.
It's always a pleasure doing this with you.
All right, don't forget, peace and unity always the pathway set to progress. Enjoy here on Atlantic Television Network.